welcome back to the part 2 of a series of episodes that we weren't planning on doing, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
We're just going to do one episode of Fulgrim and then move on to Emperor's Children. But because there was so much information to go through when it came to Fulgrim, we've got to try and split that episode up.
There was an excess
of storyline.
of story.
Yes. So yeah, thank you as well for joining us for part 2. We're going to put a link in the description below for part 1.
Yep.
Or it'll be around here somewhere, of where you can go for part 1 so you can finish it off correctly.
Yep.
Editor's note, halfway through this episode or halfway through recording, the camera ended up not working and cutting out. We still have the audio, but small channel problems. That's all we can say on that.
Yeah. It's annoying.
Yeah.
The camera that we are using is my 10-year-old plus GoPro.
Yeah. So we're doing the best we can. But yeah, please like and subscribe, comment, share. Please do whatever. Help us get out of small channel hell so that way we can actually get better equipment.
Yep. Everything that we get from this channel is going to be put back into it.
Yep.
So that we can have like the best quality for you to be able to watch, because we love, talking to you guys.
This is the part of the day we enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. You love telling stories. I like listening to stories. So better equipment means better videos, all that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. If anybody out there has a way that they could help us, there's a Discord.
Discord in the description below, along with our TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everything else.
Whatever.
Yeah. Everywhere you can find us, and our Discord too. Which is where we're the most active, I think.
Yeah, Discord is where it's most active.
So thank you again. We're going to move on to the final part of this story. At one point, a 2D image of just a drawing of us will jump up. It'll be like the old days.
Yeah.
But please don't let that deter you from listening to the rest of it. It's a great story.
Yeah.
Finished quite brilliantly, to be honest. The story finished quite well.
Yeah, it did. And next episode will be Emperor's Children.
Emperor's Children in general, some of the main characters, how they ended up getting to that story. Some stuff that I couldn't mention in this particular episode or the last episode, I'm putting in the Emperor's Children one because that makes a little bit more sense for it. Plus, this episode's already too long.
Yep. And fingers crossed, no technical issues with the
no technical issues.
Next,
pray to the Omnissiah.
which we are about to record now.
Yes. So we're going to do Emperor's Children, and then after that, Lucius the Eternal, and then we're going to do a secret 20-minute episode on something that you don't know about.
Yep. And then after this group of Emperor's Children, if you have any suggestions of what you would like us to talk about.
Well, we're going to be doing the timeline episodes condensed for you to make it easier on you.
Yep.
And we're going to rehash those. But anything after that, please let us know what you guys want to know more about, or what you want me to research on so we can do more episodes.
We know someone's going to say
World Leaders. Absolutely. That's every time he says that, it's going to go to the bottom of the list each time.
Yep.
Now we're going to get back into part 2. Thanks for listening to us. Thanks for putting up with us.
Bye.
See ya. Are you ready to take your wargaming to the next level? Look no further than Games Village, your one-stop shop for everything Warhammer and wargaming, right here in Upper Coomera on the beautiful Gold Coast.
Whether you're a seasoned veteran or a new player, Gamers Village has everything you need, from miniatures and paints to rulebooks and accessories. Plus, they've got a fantastic community for players to connect, compete, and grow their skills.
Visit Gamers Village today in Upper Coomera, or check them out online for all your wargaming needs. Your next great battle is awaiting. Gamers Village, where your wargaming adventure begins. And then they got into the middle of the chamber, in the middle of this temple. They found a whole bunch of Lair just in a drug-fueled... Literally that.
Okay.
It's described in graphic detail. But in the middle of this, this is going to be fun. There was a giant black obsidian stone. And in the middle of that stone was a curved, long silvered blade.
Oh.
In the middle of the stone, like very King Arthur style.
I was going to say, yeah, King Arthur.
Yeah. It had a long silver handle pattern blade that had the scales of a snake patterned along its hilt.
Okay.
And the purple stone on the pommel throwing off different colored reflections. So imagine what a beautiful silver sword like that with a purple stone.
Okay.
Very, very fantasy. Fulgrim kept walking into the group of the writhing Leia as his gaze was transfixed on the blade. Julius and his Phoenix Guard were like the best, the Terminators, the best of the best, set to guard the Primarch. Julius and his Phoenix Guard tried chasing after him, but Fulgrim put out a hand to stop them, and Julius cried out to him, but was stopped because of the horrible perfume and scents that he was choking and he wasn't able to get his word out. And then eventually a phrase came into his head that wasn't his own. Julius, let me take him. The Leia moved out of the way for Fulgrim, like they were as if they were in reverence of him. He saw them, and then the Leia standing around him, and they were bowing to him. And then he pulled out the sword out of the obsidian stone, and then ordered for all of the Leia to be killed.
Wow, that's very diplomatic.
Yes. Then obviously I would talk about the Lafanice and I would talk about the remembrances, but that I'm going to save for the next episode because I feel that's a little bit more important, and plus I've got too much to talk about in this episode. So, because after the Leia Temple was where things got a little screwy for the Emperor's children because of the influence from the temple and the sword.
Yep.
But the thing is that they never noticed it. Like, they just thought it was a passive effect. They were like, I feel weird, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not like...
And there soon was a difference between those that went to the temple and those that didn't. Like, there was a divide.
Okay.
So, but then Fulgrim was tasked to help Ferris. And that was a really good, joyous moment where they two brothers who were in good stead with each other were finally reunited. Fulgrim ordered boarding... Like, they were taking on these humans that were working with aliens called the Diasporics. So already Fulgrim was like, nah, none of them. Why would humans want to work with aliens?
What kind of aliens? Like when you say alien?
By the way it was described in the book, you know those aliens from...
The Greys?
No, the aliens from Silent Place? Not Silent Place.
Silent.
That movie with John Krasinski and Emily Blunt.
Oh.
The one where they all have to be quiet. I can't remember.
Yeah, A Quiet Place.
That's it.
Quiet Place, yeah.
Ironically, the name of the movie. Yeah. But yeah, imagine that, like long, gangly kind of like, but slightly smaller than them and black skin.
But they were working with them?
Working with humans. So when these humans were separated from the rest of humanity during the Age of Strife, they formed a partnership and a bond with these aliens.
Okay.
And they were given...
They didn't have to be quiet.
Yeah, exactly. They were given the Emperor's choice of joining the Imperium.
Yep.
They refused.
Yep.
And then they went into all that war. Ferrus Manus and the Iron Hands couldn't handle it.
Yep.
And they realized that we need to call for help. The nearest one was Fulgrim and the Emperor's children.
Yep.
So Fulgrim ordered boarding parties so that he could take the capital ship of these aliens. As they were heading towards the bridge, they were nearly destroyed by an enemy vessel. But Ferrus Manus swooped in and stopped the ship.
Yep.
Saving Fulgrim. And Fulgrim then wanted to take the bridge by himself.
Yeah.
But one of his captains, Solomon, took the initiative and took it before he even got there. This made him furious. He was upset because once again his thunder's been stolen, and he was none too happy that the glory of the bridge was robbed of him by his own captain, and that he had to be saved, as he's like saved by Ferrus Manus. And this is when the blade starts talking to him. He has this other voice in his head that's just saying, they're making you look like idiots. They're just trying to steal their own glory. And Fulgrim in his arrogance doesn't assume that this is an outside voice. He just assumes that his consciousness is so intelligent that he's literally talking to himself. Yeah. Like, this is schizophrenia, but this is good for me.
He doesn't think that it's like, you know, something that's trying to corrupt him or anything like that.
No, he doesn't see this as an outside influence.
Yeah.
But it is taking, and he's starting to become a little bit more eccentric, a little bit more and more unpredictable. They then, after Ferrus Manus and Fulgrim part ways to go through different pathways for the Imperium, he started coming across like these beautiful worlds, like these paradise worlds, with ancient ruins on them that look like an ancient civilization were here. And he's just like, we're going to leave these. We'll make note of them and we're just going to leave them. And then Saul Tarvitz and Solomon are just like, huh? Why? That's not what we're meant to be doing.
Yeah.
It's not the way we do things.
Yeah.
And then, like, Solomon and Tarvitz are trying to explain that, what we're meant to do is we're meant to leave a contingent of military here, and then we also have to make sure that we note this so that the Mechanicus can come along and start farming the resources of this planet.
Yeah.
And then Fulgrim's and he's like, this is the Emperor's word. This is what he told us to do. And this is where his arrogance comes into it, where Fulgrim goes, "Oh, you've spoken to the Emperor, have you? Have you spoken to him? Like, he said this to you directly. Do you think you know more than the Emperor's sons do? Like, his own son." Like, that's literally almost quote for quote.
That kind of, yep.
Yes. And then he met a remembrancer by the name of Ostian about the idea of perfection. Going to get that in the next in the next Emperor's Children episode. This is where he met Aldrad Ulthrain.
Okay.
Eldrad is an Eldar.
Oh.
He is the quote-unquote leader of Craftworld Ulthwé, which is one of the main, like, the Ultramarines of the Eldar.
Yep.
Eldrad asked him to meet on one of these paradise worlds. And through diplomacy, they were able to, and sat at a table, and then Eldrad said, "We wanted to meet with you because we really appreciate you not destroying our maiden worlds." And Fulgrim didn't even know that they were Eldar worlds.
I was going to say,
and
not
what
yet.
this ancient civilization was that was here, but no, it was actually the Eldar worlds.
Yeah.
And he's like, Eldrad said, because of this, and because you didn't destroy our worlds, and because I've received portents of the future, because most Eldar can see this is what see the future.
Yeah.
And this Eldrad is what's called a Farseer, where he can see the glimpses of the future. He's like, I have to warn you about something that's going to annoy you and upset you. And Fulgrim's just like, come on then, tell me. Eldrad warned him about Horus. Warned him that Horus was going to betray the Emperor and that the forces of chaos were going to corrupt him.
Yep.
You know what Fulgrim's reaction was?
As if they could corrupt me.
You're going to die for that. That was his reaction. Yeah. How dare you say Horus is a traitor? How dare you say that he is that weak-minded? My brother, the War Master, you think he would fall to such corruptions? And Eldrad is just like, the Chaos Gods have him in his thrall right now.
Yeah.
And you know what Fulgrim said? What are the Chaos Gods? Because they don't know it. They travel through the warp, but they don't know anything about what the gods are. They don't know what the Chaos Gods are.
So is it just this? Is it just him that doesn't know, or does no?
No, the Imperium at large does not know about the four Chaos Gods.
Okay.
Which is another reason why Big E was trying to destroy religion and create an atheistic sort of agnostic society.
Yeah.
Not even agnostic, but like, because he believed that belief in something higher could be manipulated by the Chaos Gods, and then that would feed them. So he didn't even tell his sons.
But Big E knew about.
Big E knew all of it. But he thought he was protecting them by not telling them.
Yeah, by not telling him. Okay.
So yes,
Still.
horrified by this, the Eldar was just like, you travel the warp and you don't know about the Chaos Gods.
Yeah.
Wow. He's like, he's like shocked by this. He's like, no wonder they're coming for you because you have no idea who's coming for you. So yeah, Eldrad saw the blade as well and said, you're all corrupted.
Yeah.
Kill them all. And then the Eldar and the Emperor's children started fighting. The Eldar can travel through war portals that they had ready, so they just went through that. But coming out of this portal was a big, giant, fiery, demonic avatar of a god known as the Avatar of Cain. It's like their big trump. It's like their big trump card.
Yeah.
Fulgrim strangled it and killed it outright because also, thankfully, the power of the demon that's in the blade was supercharged him and empowered him up.
Of course,
and filled him with chaos energies and told him what to do, like how to do this.
Because he thought he was talking to himself this whole time.
Yeah, he thought it was just him, but he's getting this pleasure because his hands are burning as he's got around the throat of this fiery god, but he's loving it. He's feeling the power of a god die in his hands. And he killed it. His hands blackened, but he killed him.
Yeah.
And he then turned to the rest of his captains and just said, burn all of these worlds.
Damn.
Because it was in that moment when he's strangling it, he's given visions connecting with this Eldar.
Yeah.
This Eldar god was part of an Eldar.
Yeah.
He sees the birth of a species. He sees the death of an empire and the birth of a god. And there's the name of this god kept ringing in his head over and over again. Slaanesh, 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 Slaanesh. And that's when he realizes, like, I think he comes to full grips with what it actually is and what it, yeah.
But he likes the power too.
I think that's when he started realizing that this blade is something a little bit extra.
Yeah.
And this is all connected. So yeah, he says, virus bomb the world. And his captains say, only the War Master can authorize a virus bombing. Do it now!
This is him turning.
This is him slowly, yeah. Well, as we know, chaos is a slow degradation.
So with this new sword, now you didn't mention the name of the sword.
I don't know it.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have one as far as I'm aware. It's just called the Layer Blade.
Okay. So, but his flamey sword,
Fire Blade.
yeah, has he still got that? Like,
Still got it.
but
He just alternates.
But when he uses this new sword,
He can hear it more and more.
okay, so he's gonna
He started putting away Fireblade more and more and started using this blade.
using the Chaos Blade.
Yeah, and some of the Marines actually started picking up on that because they obviously know about the legendary relationship between him and
Him
Ferris.
and Varys, yep.
This is where shit went from 0 to 100 real quick.
This is where the orgies happen.
No.
Sorry, this is where the
Yes.
happen.
No. But he was then ordered by the Council of Terror to go talk to Horus and assess these rumors about him because Horus got stabbed. And then also that a bunch of his Marines killed innocent civilians. So this is when Horus was stabbed by the knife and then corrupted by Erebus.
Yeah. Okay, so this is after he dropped the virus bomb as well.
This is after he dropped the virus bomb
So I'm guessing.
on an Eldar planet. This isn't the Isfahan massacre.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So I'm guessing that Horus has found out.
Horus is now corrupted. No, Horus is now corrupted by chaos.
Oh.
And now the Council of Terror, hearing these rumors about him being stabbed and his Astartes killing people, they told the Council of Terror told Fulgrim to go assess what the hell's going on. And
Yeah.
Fulgrim didn't like that because he hates it when mortals get involved. And he's like, don't tell me to go check on my brother, the War Master. Blah.
He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hated being treated like a lapdog for mortals, which is also what caused a lot of tension between the rest of the legions. Like a lot of the reasons why the legions pulled back was because they were afraid that their humanity was just gonna do away with them the same way that they went with the Thunder Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a little tidbit in there as well. He met up with Horus's fleet, and there was a moment where he's realizing, I'm in the perfect spot to take out the fleet, to take out Horus right now. I could be a hero. I could stop this betrayal from happening.
Because he'd heard it from...
He heard it from the Eldar. And then he
Eldar
also
as well.
The Blade also confirmed it too.
Oh, okay.
So he's like, I could stop this right here, right now. And then it's at that point where Eidolon comes up to him. He's like, don't forget your sword, sir. Which I think is the sword taking control of Eidolon.
Yeah.
And putting suggestions to go for Eidolon to go give him his sword. And then the Blade just went.
Grabs him.
Yep.
I mean, I'm guessing that...
That happened as he was ordering his fleet to go into attack positions.
Yeah, because I'm guessing that Slaanesh could feel him getting away almost.
It's more or less like nudging him the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is where he went on to go board to go meet Horus. This is where the Blade manipulated him so badly. Horus told him everything that he had learned in his visions about the Emperor. That embracing the Chaos Gods is the only way to achieve true perfection. And Fulgrim's love and respect for Horus was what turned him here. This is where he went full traitor.
Okay.
Not chaos, but full traitor.
Full traitor, yep.
And Horus trusted Fulgrim so much that he gave him the Chaos Blade that stabbed him.
Okay.
So this is where Fulgrim was given the anathema dagger,
Yeah.
showing ultimate trust to Fulgrim. Fulgrim was then sent to go to Ferrus Manus to try and convert him.
Oh, okay.
How do you think this went? He went to go to his brother, the Iron Hands Primarch, and to try and convert him to betray the Emperor. How do you think this went?
I don't think it went very well.
And what makes you think that?
Well, the meta reason is because I know that the Iron Hands aren't part of the Imperium. They're not part of.
Yeah, Ferrus was like, you're crazy for turning on Father, and you're even crazier thinking that I would.
Yeah.
What ensued was a battle of harsh words between each other.
Which I guess would have been hard too, because like they would have been, like you said, they were
Closest
such close
to
brothers. Like, so it would be like
I think
a
Fulgrim
betrayal even for Faris to go, my brother has not only betrayed our father, but also
betraying
betrayed
me because he's going against me.
Yeah.
I think he may have had both blades at this point because Fulgrim pulled out Fireblade and Ferrus caught the blade in his hands, in his iron hands. And you know what he said?
What?
I made this blade. I can damned unmake it. And then breaks the blade, shattering it, and the power within it exploded. And then everybody, including Fulgrim, Ferrus, and the Terminators, all went flying because so much power was in this blade. And
I
Fulgrim
brought you
was
into
like,
this
I can
world.
kill him now, but I'm going to walk away. He picks up Forgebreaker, picks up the hammer, and then orders his Phoenix Guard to kill every single of his Morlock Terminator Guard. So, Phoenix Guard for Fulgrim, Morlock Terminators for Ferrus. Every single Phoenix Guard Terminator killed all of his First Company Terminators. As a giant insult. Whilst that was happening, he went to Isfahan 3. Do you remember what happened at Isfahan 3?
No, I don't remember.
That's okay.
I know the name. I don't remember what happened there.
Horus gathered his own sons, the sons of Horus, the Death Guard, the World Eaters, and the Emperor's children.
Okay, yeah.
And then all four of them were sent down there to put down a rebellion on Isfahan 3.
Okay. I think I've
what it actually was meant to be a purging of all the loyalists in their legion.
Yep.
In their ranks, so thousands upon thousands of loyalist Marines were sent down to the surface and were immediately virus bombed.
Jeez, I like their virus bombs.
Just so you know what that entails, a virus bomb will hit the ground and the virus will come out and just spew like a wave coming over the ground. It will start eating your flesh and you will die into a pool of slop within a matter of seconds.
Wow.
A matter of minutes. And then you know what the second painful part is?
What?
A second bomb is dropped and that ignites the flame, the virus.
Oh my God.
But
just death and destruction.
But Saul Tarvitz, one of the Emperor's children, captains, that was loyal to the Emperor, was able to warn the others and told them all to seek cover underground. And they were able to get Nathaniel Garrow, the Death Guard, off to Terra to warn them about this betrayal.
Okay.
They were meant to be slaughtered and the traitors were meant to move on in a matter of days. The loyalists held them there for 3 months. If this didn't happen, the Horus Heresy would have gone off without a hitch a lot easier.
Okay.
So the loyalists were able to fight back. Yeah. Loyalist world eaters, loyalist sons of Horus, Death Guard, and Emperor's children were able to rally with each other around figureheads and captains from each of their own chapters respectively, or legions respectively, and then fight back. That obviously didn't end well.
No.
So yes, I'm going to get into what happened at the end in the Emperor's Children episode, and I'm also going to get into next episode the Marvigula, however you say it, which we'll talk more about in that episode. But this is where the mutations of chaos started taking root, and this is where they went fully chaos as well as Treya.
Yeah.
Then Isfahan 5 happened, the drop site massacre. Do you remember what happened here?
No, I don't remember what happened at Isfahan 5. Sorry, I was trying to think. But
that's okay. That's okay.
No.
So Ferrus Manus of the Iron Hands
Yep.
was tasked by Dawn the Emperor
Yep.
to take a vengeance fleet and go take on these traitors. Accompanying him was Vulcan of the Salamanders and
Yep.
Corvus Corax of the Raven Guard. 3 loyalists.
Is this where they start the split up and then Horus ends up going to kill the Emperor and then they've got to try and get that come back?
Almost. We're almost there.
Okay.
This is just before.
This is just before. I remember talking about this part.
Yeah.
Because then they have to come back.
A lot of the Horus Heresy was just them trying to corral everybody to get together and go take on the Emperor.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What happened was that the Iron Hands, the Salamanders, and the Raven Guard. So Salamanders, big bony boys with the green armor.
Yeah.
And then Raven Guard, sneaky stealth.
Yeah.
Followed by the Iron Hands. Dong.
Yep.
They were meant to be the first wave to go take on the traitors, which were the Emperor's Children, Death Guard, Sons of Horus, and World Eaters.
Yep.
They were all sitting there waiting on Isfan 5, waiting for them. So all three of the legions landed.
Yep.
Followed by the Primarchs, and began taking on the traitors. And Ferrus Manus, who was furious, had also recreated Fireblade. He had reforged the blade.
Wow.
And he was leading the charge and carved a wedge straight through the enemy to try and get to Fulgrim.
So wait, he had both the hammer and the...
No, Fulgrim's got the hammer because he took Forgebreaker.
Oh, he took Forgebreaker. Yes, that's right. Yeah,
and so the weapons that they had created for each other were being used against each other.
Yeah.
So there's beautiful poetry there.
Wow.
So the thing is that but everyone was like, oh, finally the second wave's come. Here come the Night Lords, the Iron Warriors, the Alpha Legion, and the Word Bearers. They're coming to reinforce us, boys. It's fine. We're all good.
Yeah, little do they know.
So the Salamanders and the Raven Guard pulled back.
Yep.
But Ferrus Manus and his Iron Hands just kept pushing through.
Yep.
Yes. He found Fulgrim there with his Phoenix Guard ready to fight.
Yep.
As Corax and Vulcan were within 100 meters of their reinforcements of the Iron Warriors, Word Bearers, and all that, Horus from his bunker shot a single flare into the air, and then all of them revealed themselves to be traitors and fired upon the Raven Guard and the Salamanders.
So they come up from behind.
No. So they were coming. So Salamanders and Raven Guard were coming back to be like, brothers, come help us. We need help. And then the Iron Warriors, Word Bearers, Night Lords, and Alpha Legion all began firing on them.
On them, yeah. Oh, that's what I mean. They were running back to
And
then.
And they were also being corralled by the other traitors that had already met the World Eaters,
So they've
the Death
essentially
Guard, the Emperor's Children, the Sons of Horus.
they've essentially split them, and there's two.
And now pincered them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So a lot of Marines died.
There would have been.
Yes. So they just all rained surprising bolt of fire onto the loyalists. Just to point out as well, I know I keep saying this, but just to point out how deadly this was and lethal this was to all three of those legions, the Raven Guard, who were one of the smaller legions, went from 80,000 to 5,000.
That's a lot of death.
That's a lot of damage.
And that's the small one.
That's the small one. So you can imagine what the Salamanders and the Iron Hands were all about.
Is this sort of what made, because I know this is all future stuff, but
this is one of the reasons why they had to split up the chapters a little bit.
Yeah, but is this also why they made them have the limited amount of armies each? Because they just
a little bit, just because of the pure terror that a whole legion could act on somebody. Yes.
Yeah.
So it was created like that to dilute that power, to stop a drop site massacre from happening again.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, Ferrus turned around and was upset and shocked by this. He didn't see this happening. He didn't know that the others had turned traitor
as well. Yeah.
And Fulgrim savored every minute of it.
Loved
it.
Yeah.
And the fight between the Primarchs continued with Ferrus swinging Fireblade and then Fulgrim using Forgebreaker.
So what was Fulgrim sitting there playing with his what is it called? You know, the
Palatine Aquila.
The bit in the middle of his stomach.
No, not the shit. No, you didn't get that until he became a snake.
Oh.
Pick up here for reference. But But yeah, this fight was amazing to listen to and read. Like,
Yeah.
it was a tragically beautiful fight.
A blood show. Like,
Yeah, so Fulgrim pulled out the Lair blade eventually and became absolutely infused with chaos energies and surprised Ferris as to how strong he was.
so was that all of the lead? That was all of the
All of the traders except for the Thousand Suns and Magnus.
Oh, okay.
Because they got screwed over by the Space Wolves.
But they're going up against like only 3.
It was basically 3 versus 7
Yeah.
or 8. 3 versus 8.
Because what is it? 12. There's
4 on each side.
Yeah.
But there's 18 legions.
18 legions. Yep. So
half of that is 9.
Yeah.
And then we take out
the
Magnus.
2.
So there's 7.
Yeah, it's still because
So
they didn't have
They almost all the trade legions were fucking screwing these 3
in
over.
one. Yeah,
In
because you
one
got to
fell
think
swoop.
if what would have happened if like the Ultramarines were there, if
Or Dawn.
you know
or any of the
Dawn
others,
was
yeah.
there, if it was more
Or
of a
the
fair
Lion.
fight,
Yeah.
like it was.
If another legion was there, they would have also probably been messed up just as much because of the surprise factor of it.
Yeah, it was
But- Total surprise.
Because I'm guessing that the way that they were thinking it, they were
They were
like,
thinking it was 3 versus 4,
yeah,
but we were being backed by another 4.
yeah.
So it's actually 7 versus 3. So that's
3.
what they were thinking.
So they thought, oh, we've got the upper hand. We're going to annihilate
Yeah, it was
them.
actually 7 versus 3, which it was, but just the other way around.
the other way around. They
Yeah.
didn't realize.
They didn't realize they were the 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, this effectively knocked those 3 legions out. Like, they were still active players in the Horus Heresy,
But not
but
as
nowhere near as what they could have been
Yeah.
at full legion strength. So the Raven Guard were relegated to doing nothing but hit and run tactics because Corvus was able to escape. The Salamanders were limping along the entire way and were present at the Siege of Terror, but not as much.
Yeah.
And the Iron Hands went back to Medusa to try and figure out how they could effectively screw over the traders
So
and harass their supply lines.
what like stopped the battle? Did they just retreat? Like that's
Nope. So I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
This fight between Fulgrim and Ferris was amazing to listen to and read, as I just said. Fulgrim pulled out the Leo blade and became absolutely infused with chaos energies.
Yep.
And sliced straight through Ferris's chest plate, and Ferris had to drop to his knees. Fulgrim was about to finish him, but he didn't have the strength to finish it.
Yeah.
He still didn't have the conviction to kill the brother that he loved.
Yeah.
Even though Ferris is looking up at Fulgrim with pure hatred.
Like he
I hate
would,
your guts.
he would be able to kill, but Fulgrim couldn't kill him.
And then there was a second of clarity. As he had that blade up in the air, Fulgrim looked around and saw what he had done. He had saw what his legion had become. These mutated monsters. He looked at everything he had done and felt absolute guilt for what had taken place.
Yeah.
He's like, I have now actually gone beyond the point of no return. I don't know what to do. And it's as he looked down, he saw Ferris was going for the fire blade, and his arm just moved without his thinking. And no matter how hard he fought, no matter how much he tried stopping his muscles, his body wasn't his own anymore. As the Lair blade came down and decapitated Ferris Manus.
Damn.
And killing the first Primarch of the Horus Heresy.
So Ferris was the first one
to die.
Wow. Okay.
And sitting there racked with grief, looking at the decapitated head of his brother. He's like, I can't handle this. This overcome with grief.
Yeah.
And what he had done and what he gave into the demon's control, and the demon possessed Fulgrim's body. And Fulgrim's consciousness was pulled out of his body and then forced into a painting on the Pride of the Emperor. Fulgrim was trapped in the painting.
Wow.
And the demon, finally released from the blade, had now his own body to control. And the power of a Primarch's body too.
Okay, so this demon, is this Slanesh?
A greater demon of Slanesh. This is not Slanesh directly, but this is a greater demon.
Okay.
The highest echelon of Slanesh demon you can get, which I think is a master keeper of secrets, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
It's
Yeah.
something like that at the very least. So
Wow.
after the massacre, Horace confronted Fulgrim's body because he realized that whatever is standing in front of him is not my
It's
brother.
not his brother.
He
Yep.
realized that he was something else. And even though he was given assurances by this demon, this thing, that Fulgrim was actually okay and safe, Horace still swore that once this is over, he's going to save Fulgrim. So Horace did care about his brothers
Yep.
and hated whatever was happening here.
Yeah, hated the demon.
But he had to abide it.
Yeah. So did he know? Did he eventually find out that his body or his mind had been transferred into a painting?
He didn't know the specifics, but he knew that whatever was here was not Fulgrim.
It was not Fulgrim.
A few days after the massacre, every single traitor Primarch had a meeting on board the Vengeful Spirit. So all of them, whether it was in person or astral projection or
They had him. Yeah.
even Magnus was there.
They come in by Zoom.
Yeah, some did.
Yeah.
But as they were trying to figure out what to do next and how to take on the Emperor and the Loyalist legions, Lorgar. Do you remember who Lorgar was?
Lorgar, isn't he the Space Wolves?
Wordbearers.
No. Oh, yep.
For Lehman Russ's Space Wolves.
Lehman Russ's. Yeah.
So Lorgar of the Wordbearers.
Wordbearers, yep.
Wordbearers Legion are very well known for their demon possession.
Oh,
So Lorgar was about to sit down and then saw whatever was inhabiting Fulgrim's body. Yelled at him and said, "What the hell is that?" And then smashes Fulgrim's head in with a Crozius. And he's like, "I know what my legion does. What we have with the demons relationship is symbiotic.
yep.
This is parasitic.
Yeah.
Whatever's happening here is not okay. This goes against the natural order. You shouldn't be able to be taking over a Primarch's body. What the hell happened?"
Yep.
So and then that's when other traitor Primarchs drew their weapons because they were about to kill Ferris.
Yep.
Not Ferris, Fulgrim.
Fulgrim.
And then Horace stopped it and he said, "I have it under control." Going to get into more detail about that when we talk about Lorgar.
Okay.
But Horace stopped them all. Horace commanded Fulgrim to go take Mars and take it before the Siege of Terror. He did not do that. He went out of his way, just indulging himself around the galaxy and just like taking over random planets. His captains were so worried about him that this wasn't their father. This wasn't the Primarch.
There wasn't yet.
They decided to forcefully try and excise the demon out of him by having him held down and try like carving into him and trying to get doing whatever they could to get the demon out
They're
of him.
being like the Exorcist.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lo and behold, the twist of all twists. This was Fulgrim. Whilst Fulgrim was trapped in the painting, he had figured out all of the warp, like artistry behind it all and the skill behind it. And he took back his body. The demon is trapped in the painting. Fulgrim's back. And he let this happen because he wanted his sons to realize it. So this isn't a matter of this is a demon controlling Fulgrim and Fulgrim's not at fault. No. Fulgrim is back.
So when...
Don't know when exactly.
Oh, okay. I was going to say...
We don't know when exactly, but it was after the massacre.
Yeah, and it would have been after Old Mate had seen him at the meeting.
It was
he
after
could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing it in this order.
Damn.
So Fulgrim, it has control of his body again.
And he is just that way now.
He's just that way.
Okay.
Now, for those of you wondering if I'm going to go through the Angel Exterminator story, I'm not, because it's more or less a Perturabo storyline than anything else, and I don't want to take away from that. But essentially, with the help of Perturabo of the Iron Warriors, Fulgrim was able to finally achieve apotheosis and fully ascended to becoming a demon Primarch. This is how he became Snake Fulgrim.
Snake.
He walked out of the apotheosis like that, well, slithered out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And now we're coming towards the end of it. Now we get to the Siege of Terror. Fulgrim and the Emperor's children had just been floundering the whole time during the Siege of Terror. They were just massacring the population of Terra, doing horrible things. Until he was convinced by Abaddon to go take the Saturnine Wall, which was a section of the wall close to the Imperial Palace. Fulgrim chose to go in his mortal form this time instead of Snakegrim.
Yeah.
This is where he encountered Sigismund, who was the first captain to Dawn of the Imperial Fist. Yep. Sigismund has been well known as the most prolific swordsman out of all of them. So, Sigismund actually held his own against Fulgrim for a moment, which infuriated him, and then Sigismund stood aside because Dawn turned up.
Oh.
Dawn was there with a giant chainsword and a giant shield.
Okay, you did say, I just want to, just because in my mind. So the demon Primarchs can switch between demon form and normal form?
Oh. Angron can't. And I assume that Mortarion could shut off his stinkiness for a bit, but I wouldn't want to. Magnus can do whatever he wants because he's Pantheon of the Changer of Ways, so he can change whatever he wants. And I don't see a reason why Fulgrim couldn't.
So Fulgrim can go like from this mode, like with back the wings and everything.
Mode. That's what it says here in the book, at least.
Okay.
And Magnus can too, but like he's too far deep. So is Mortarion and Angron are too deep.
Okay.
It also depends on the god too.
Yeah. Okay.
I was going to leave this for the Dawn episode, but I just found it was way too important. So I'm paraphrasing and cutting out a lot, obviously, because this is a big section of the book. Fulgrim's trying his hardest to go Dawn, but that's also like trying to get water from concrete.
Yeah.
Because Dawn's just so stoic.
Yeah.
Are you really not going to try and convince me, asked Fulgrim, that I have made a mistake? Talk me back into the fold where I can make amends. Dawn surged after him. No, I'm just going to kill you. That's what Dawn said. Are you now? How bold, how empty. Look around. And then Dawn didn't take his eyes off Fulgrim. Look around, said Fulgrim. Look around. See what's happening, Rogel Dolt. Your tower is tumbling down. No more running to daddy crying. Look what I've built. It took years to make this, and in one night I rolled down on you, crack your shield and build a foothold. And that's the point where Dawn stamped at him and then traded four blows to Fulgrim. Look, said Dawn. I don't have to. I see it all. All what? I see your siege machines burning at the foot of my wall. I see your sonic weapons silenced. I see your host, foolishly committed to its entirety, pouring into a run of wall that I could hold with a force a tenth of that size. And it is held by a fourth of tenth that size. Imperial fists, now bolstered by 200 Astartes veterans I brought with me. 200 veterans who are skilled in every doctrine of war, who have rallied this garrison, this wall stretch, and are now slaughtering the vanguard you so wantonly committed. They thank you for giving them such a wealth of bodies to reap. You have no foothold.
I'm thinking of how
awesome this is.
Like, it's such a big
idea, a big concept.
Yeah, like, how did not more armies like come in as well? Like, it just seems like such a big battle.
Millions and billions of people died. This war was huge.
Yeah, so how did Gilliman not come in? How did they not, like...
They were trying.
Because I thought they had, like, the Psychers and stuff.
Do you remember the Edict of Nicaea?
Oh.
Some abided by it, some didn't. We're going to get into that in the Horus Heresy Explained.
Because I was like, I'm thinking like
how did they not do it? Yeah,
yeah.
That's also another thing that crippled the loyalists.
Yeah, like how were they not more informed? Like how are they not able to be?
We're going to get into that. Don't worry, mate. All these answers will be explained. Now,
it just makes me like
want to know more.
Yeah, but I don't want to read anything because I don't read.
Well, that's why you got me, because I've read all these.
I just want to find, like, it just seems like there's so much that
they could have changed. There's reasons why a lot of things happen the way that they did.
Okay.
There's about 55 plus books explaining why these happened this way.
Because, like, while this is happening, is there, like, other battles going on? And that's why. Okay.
Yes.
Is it just especially...
Because whilst this is happening, the lion is destroying Chemos.
Oh, okay. So there are other things that are
And
going.
Lorgar and the Word Bearers had created a ritual sacrifice that had thrown up all of these warp storms, which stopped a lot of people getting to where they needed to be.
Okay.
And that was
makes
a
more
major part of the Horus Heresy books, is that they weren't able to get through it.
That makes more sense. Okay.
And
'Cause I'm
but now the storms are starting to subside.
Because I'm guessing all the power is now being concentrated in this battle, so then it would be weakening. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
And mind you, this Siege of Terror takes place over like 7+ books.
okay.
And despite the fact that it's only a 3-month period, it's really great. Anyways, back to the quote. Dawn says to Fulgrim, "You've let yourself be used as a distraction. You've let your host be decimated for nothing. The Saturnine ruse, I know about that too, has failed. Perturabo played his move and lost his piece. You're just a pawn. Was it the Lord of Iron who fooled you into this? Was it Lupercal? Abaddon? You must have been willing. Were you getting bored with it? The spear tip is broken. You're holding a gate for no one. You're just an idiot standing on a wall." For Dawn to be calling you an idiot standing on a wall is really something.
Yeah.
Disempowered by this, Fulgrim said, "I am so bored of this right now," and turned into his snake version and flew away. Dawn was surrounded by the captains at Eidolon and of the Emperor's children, and you know what he said? "Try me."
So Fulgrim like going full snake mode.
Yeah, he can just do it at will.
Yeah, but had they seen that happen before?
I don't think Dawn did, but they knew of it. They knew that there was chaos corruption involved.
Okay, because I'm like, I'm like thinking like
It might have been a bit shocking to see it
Yeah, they're in the middle of
firsthand for Dawn, but like,
they're in the middle
Dawn
of a
saw it.
battle, and then he's like, "Pfft,
and then he just
I'm over
gets
this.
his wings,
And
flies
then-
away.
Yeah, like that
And
would be.
do you want to know something else as well?
Yeah.
That's the last part he took place in this whole battle. He dips.
So where is his like? Where's the Emperor's children at this point? Like,
This is where we're going to get to now. So during the Great Scouring, he fought Rabute.
Yeah.
And this is where he sliced Rabute's neck with the toxic dagger.
Yep.
And that was what forced him into the stasis.
Yep.
Fulgrim then just went on just to stay on Calyx, a planet within the Eye of Terror.
Oh, okay.
That's literally where it ends. That was literally the end of his story. He took part in the Siege of Terror. It failed. He flew away. That's it.
So he doesn't come.
He makes appearances every now and again, though he's been in some notable battles against either humanity or other chaos forces over the 10,000-year course. But over that 10,000 years, not present. The Emperor's children had been fractured by this and just didn't. Yeah.
So there is a new. Well, I don't know if it's new.
There is a new book now coming out about how he's coming back.
Okay.
I don't know the reasons why he came back, but it's going to be in the book.
So this is okay. So this is going to be the new book.
So 30K, 40K.
So
Nothing happened. Nothing of note, at least.
Damn.
He just stays on his planet Calyx, indulging himself.
Turning more chaotic, I'm guessing. So
well, yeah, probably.
Okay, so this is why this new book could be very important, because
Exactly.
this new book.
Because we don't know what he's actually. We know like little short stories here and there about what he's been doing, but he's just been basically indulging himself in every pleasure.
I'm guessing if someone has come to his planet or someone's come then, but not like anything like too. Okay.
So yeah, that's essentially his story so
Man.
far. With obviously parts of it taken out for brevity, as I say, as we're about into the part 2 we didn't plan on making.
Okay.
Now, how do you feel about knowing the story of Fulgrim? That's about 70% of his story.
It is very interesting. It is all that it is doing, and I'm assuming that the audience, for those who haven't read, it's probably a really good like beginning into like learning more. Like, so if this interests you, then reading the books, and the new book that is coming out
Whenever,
next week or whatever it is.
probably.
Well, I think it's up for pre-order this weekend, so it'll be probably next weekend.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It just makes me want to know more about the other parts of it. Like what
led to this point, yeah.
Yeah, and it's very interesting knowing some of the bits. Like where
I can see your brain working as well.
Yeah, like where the other where everyone else was. Like I know that it's so vast, but it's probably bits that I'm missing, but it's like, but yeah, it just confuses me as to why the other loyalists didn't get involved like how they were.
Well,
it was
half of them weren't aware.
Yeah.
Gilliman wasn't aware. Dawn was stuck on Terra. The Lion was aware, but he was stuck on the other side, and that's why we said that he was stuck on another side of the galaxy.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Here, I'm taking these weapons for Horus. Here, make sure they're put to good use." And then he gave those weapons to Perturabo of the Iron Warriors, and then they used it against the actual loyalists.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the biggest thing is that it's.
And the Space Wolves were just done taking over Magnus and the Thousand Suns. Oh yeah, the White Scars didn't know anything about what was happening. Check down the White Scars because they were dealing with orcs, and that's about it.
I suppose they would have had other like Xenos. Yeah,
they still had other things. They still had orcs and Eldar to deal with and everything else because they were still taking over the galaxy.
I mean, the biggest thing is that the loyalists thought they had the upper hand when in fact they were.
Yeah, they were not.
They weren't. So
because the depths of Horus's treachery had no idea.
So I'm sure that if there wasn't the perceived backup of the other armies, like
they would have been a bit more cautious about it or waited for more backup.
Yeah. So they from their naivety, like from them being so naive, they thought, we're gonna have the upper hand.
I wouldn't say it was more naive. I would say it was just more like literally being unaware / ignorant of how far Horus had slipped. And I don't think they really understood as well that Horus would never allow himself to be trapped by 7 other legions.
He's the War Master.
Exactly.
Like you would
that is exactly
think
it.
That he is like he's got plan
3 steps ahead. Yeah.
A to Z in his back pocket of like, and he would have gone to like the Iron Warriors and you know Night Lords and everybody
else. Yeah.
It's like,
but those kind of questions we're going to be doing in our own Horus Heresy series / episode.
Yeah.
Where we're going to go back over it a little bit more and we're going to try and condense it, but at the same time, flesh it out.
Yep. And we were also thinking of doing like a Q&A sort of episode at some point in time. So if you have any questions about specific things, put them in the comments, and then I will like.
Or if I've missed something, please let me know.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is not what I would consider a perfect episode.
No.
Perfection, but I did my best to try and tell the story of Fulgrim with my own perceptions on like his quest for perfection, and then the tragedy of it all, and then trying to understand the character, because everybody loves pointing out. One thing I do respect about this community and find it funny sometimes is that they can reduce it to make it simple.
Yeah.
Like they reduce Mortarion to be a stinky boy.
Yeah.
They reduce Fulgrim to just being excess boy, like chasing after all the desires and all
Sex,
that, like,
drugs,
XX rated, that kind of thing. As much as I find that funny and I will always do it to like get a joke, I don't actually believe that, because I think that with these characters and the way they're written, there is more nuance to understanding them. Yeah. Like Fulgrim is a bastard, like is a pure like, but at the same time, he's also a genuinely interesting character and interesting to read. And in the Angel Exterminatus book, he was such a that he actually made me like Perturabo more than I did him.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just these interesting dichotomy of characters that are beyond the binary of like, being good and evil. It's more or less like a character can be more than one thing at once.
Yeah.
And it's refreshing when you look at like Disney and when you look at what Netflix and all this kind of crap are doing. Like they're trying so hard to either make a character so blatantly good or evil, or they're trying to make this character so gray that there's no white or black, that it's just, I find it refreshing when you read these characters and it's like, it comes from a genuine place.
Yeah. So you would say that Fulgrim would be a fan of...
Yes.
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 He is a fan.
Sure. Thank you for being with us in this long-winded 2-part episode that we weren't actually planning on doing. It's just because there was so much information.
It's a lot.
And a lot of origin story to go through. And I want to make sure that you had everything to make an informed decision about the character and at the same time condense it, which is nigh on impossible. Because these books I've read takes me ages to get through, and the Fulgrim book is like 15 or 17 hours or something like that to listen to.
Yeah.
So trying to condense that down.
It is all like, and we would have missed bits and, but if you wanted to comment, we also have a Discord.
Yep.
Which we'll link.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all those good places. Please let us know what we can do to improve. If you think that, or if we think we did a good job, please let me know. We're trying our best. We're trying out new technology and we're trying to get up a new setup. We're trying to get a new office / studio started.
Yep.
We're going to start be doing other things.
We should probably mention that our sponsor for all of our videos is Gamers Village.
Gamers Village has been amazing for us the whole way through.
Helped us get this audio equipment and
make the podcast episodes a lot better, and that means we can start making better content for you guys.
Yep.
So please, their information will be in the description below. Please give them a look. Please give them some love as they've given us love. They've got, honestly, I just go there for the atmosphere sometimes.
Yeah.
And
they have an online store as well. So if you're not in the Gold Coast, Upper Coomera region, they do have an online store, and they seem to be like cheaper than everywhere.
A lot cheaper than what I've found at other places.
Yeah.
And on top of that, not just cheaper, but actually having the stock.
Oh, yeah.
They have everything at the ready.
Yeah. And if they don't have stock, they'll tell you like, hey, it's not available. I'm so over like ordering stuff and then they're like, oh, by the way, we didn't actually
have this.
Get this stock
it's going to be another 2-month wait.
We just put it on the website just to see how many we could get. It's like, no, just tell me how many you've got available. So yes. So Gamers Village, Upper Coomera. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for being on this 2-episode journey. I know that it was not meant to be this long, but he's just such a good character.
Yeah.
You can't contain. There's an excess of this character. It's hard to contain it into one episode. But yes, thank you again. Have yourselves a lovely day. Support your local shops, and yeah,
thank you. Bye.
Bye.